Hey guys, Gary J here, and I wanted to show you a new bow that I just bought. I've had it a few days and I have not had a chance to open the box yet. But this is a PSE Stinger Extreme bow, and it's a great bow. And I want to talk about why I chose PSE over all the other good brands out there. You got a dozen great bow companies out there, and why I like PSE and why I like the Stinger bow is another thing too. The Stingers is one of the great bows of all times too. So why did I pick PSE over the other companies? Number one, if you look at the history of PSE, most people never talk about the company PSE. Now, PSE means precision shooting equipment. Precision shooting equipment. And if you're going to have a bow or any kind of instrument, you want it as precision as possible, especially for hunting or target shooting or whatever, whether it's a gun or a bow. And so I thought that's a good name, but the name doesn't mean so much. You have to look at the history of the company. The PSE company started back in 1971, and in 1969, the first patent was put out for a compound bow. That was 1969, so in a couple of years you had the beginning of the PSE company, which was started by a engineer from Magnavox. And that engineer, his name is Pete Shepley. And if you know anything about engineers are very analytical. They like to problem solve and fix things and make them more and more efficient and so forth. And so you need that kind of skill if you want to make a really proficient and precision instrument like a bow or a gun or anything else. So that's one of the reasons that the company is about 51 years old now in 2022, and so it's been there for over half a century. PSE makes more than just a PSE bow. They make the Browning bows too. They also make a lot of the accessories that go on their bows. They make those too, and they make crossbows and they make flow bows, and so it's a massive company. In the factory on the PSE, some people say it's close to the size of a city block. PSE sells more bows than any other bow company in the world. They're number one in sales over all the others. At the PSE company, they make about 2,500 bows a week, about 120,000 plus bows a year. And they use the latest technology in making their bows and equipment and painting them and so forth. They use a dip process where you dip the bows to get that coloration that they get with the pattern and all, that dipping process that they have, which is more expensive than painting them. But they're very conscious about the looks of their bows and how well they're made. So, that's saying a lot when you produce more bows than any other company in the world. You've been around for half a century. 90% of all the bows that PSE makes are hunting bows. So they really are up on their hunting bow designs. And they have engineers too at PSE that are archers, and so they know what they're looking for in designing and making and improving these bows. And they also make PSE arrows and so forth. And again, the equipment that you put on there on some of these bows. And so they touched a little bit on all the different facets of archery. And they have lifetime warranties on their bows, which is another great reason to buy a PSE bow. I think Stinger bows by PSE came out around 2008, and they have several different types of Stinger bows that they've made. The Stinger 3G, the Stinger X, the Stinger Extreme here, the Stinger Max bow, which I was about an inch away from buying that one, but decided on the Extreme because it had about 2.5 inch longer axle length to it. and they're adjustable in their poundage and adjustable in the draw length, which makes it a very popular bow. And they're pretty fast. This one's, I think, is 316 feet per second, and that's with a regular arrow. I like shooting at distances out to 100 yards. And so in these bows, they're used in competition. Some of the Stinger bows are used in competition, and they really perform extremely well. So I don't think you're going to go wrong with these type of bows. And for the price, you're really getting your money's worth. So we'll take a look at this bow here. Okay, guys, this is the PSE Stinger Extreme bow, and this is really a nice looking bow right here. Now this is called the RTS package. You can buy just the bow with nothing on it, or you can buy the RTS package with it, which is about $50 more, what I've seen. The RTS package means that it comes with a sight, a bow sight, a whisker biscuit, rest, a stabilizer, a wrist strap, a peep sight, a D-loop. All of that's on the bow. So you got everything that you need to shoot with on the bow. The thing that you're going to have to do is with the peep sight, you're going to have to adjust that for your shooting. And this is the peep sight right here with, see how this type is right here. It's got a pretty large aperture right there, that hole there, pretty large aperture. And so you're going to have to adjust this up and down, and you're going to need your thread to tie this on. It's already tied when they sent it to you, but you're going to have to take that off and raise it up or down for your eyesight. And then, of course, you want to adjust your sight on the bow. Now, the sight that comes with this is this one right here. And this is really a cheap sight right here. Okay. It is functional, but I have a problem just looking at the pins on it. They're not bright enough. So I have another cheap sight that I bought a couple of them. And this is the Joker 4. It's got 4 pins. The one that comes with this bow has 3. It has a light up here, too. And while the one that comes with this package does not have a light, it's just not that great on the original one. So I already had this one. I had a couple of these. And this works really, really well. I can see this so much better than I can the cheap sight that came with it. Now, the bow itself is high quality, but the sight is not that great. The whisker biscuit here is plastic, too. I like this particular design right here. Your cock vane comes up here at the top, and your other vane's here, so you don't have as much resistance as you would with a full whisker biscuit type rest. And it's fully adjustable. I like that. And your wrist strap here. This right here is a stabilizer, is very light, doesn't have much weight to it at all. And you got your dampeners here for your limb for vibration. And the bow limbs here on this particular pocket design is kind of a newer design too. So this is an improvement too. And on the newer model Stingers like this, you'll see that the riser here is wider than the other one and a little bit more skeletonized. And I love the color right here of it. And so it's just a beautiful looking bow. Now, by getting the RTS version, the ready to shoot version, you're going to have your peep sight already installed. And what that means to me is that you don't have to go to a bow shop to put it in a bow press. Okay? Because you already got your peep sight there. You could take this one out because you already have it open and put another one in if you don't like that particular style. And so you don't have to go to a bow shop to put it in a press. And the poundage is adjustable and the draw length is adjustable. And we have a little tag right here. Your draw length from 21.5 to 30 inches is adjustable, and your poundage is 22 to 70 pound adjustment. And your speed, 316 feet per second, let off 75%. The max, Stinger max, is like 80%. And some of those, I think, go up to 85%. This is one thing to be aware of. And one of the things here that you need to look at, a lot of the Stinger bows come like this. You can either get the 55 pound max bow or the 70 pound max bow. This is a 70 pound. If you get the 55 pound, you're going to have a weight range of 22 to 55 pounds. If you get the 70 pound, you're going to have a weight range of 30 to 70 pounds. Okay. Now the brace height on this is 7 1/8, axle to axle, 32 1/2. IBO speed 316 to 308 feet per second, let off 75, weight 3.8 pounds. So that's pretty good. Now one of the things what I'm thinking about is that when you look at this, it can be confusing. If you're going to pull 70 pounds on this bow, okay, you're going to have a 30-inch draw to get 70 pounds on this bow. If you say, well, my draw length is 28, which is probably about average for most people, or 28.5, then if you pull 28 inches here and not 30, you're not going to end up with 70 pounds. You might end up with 65 pounds or something like that. I don't know exactly what the numbers are going to be because I haven't tested this bow on that. But imagine if you had a draw length of 21.5 and you had the limbs cranked all the way out to 70 pounds, you're not going to be pulling 70 pounds at 21.5 inch draw. You got to be at 30 inch. It's simple physics there. So depending on your draw length, the poundage is going to drop. And so what I'm saying is that if you have a 28 inch draw and you're an adult, then you're never going to hit 70 pounds with this. Some people have said you could turn the bus cable a couple of turns and that would kick the poundage up a little bit. But I would, if you're going to be hunting, I would encourage you to get the 70 pound version of this bow and not the 55. But that depends on your draw length too and how much you can pull back. So that's up to you how you do that. But with this particular design, at the top here, you've got a completely round circular wheel here. This is an idler wheel. It creates no power to this bow. It is a ingenious design, and actually I think Matthews was the first one to design this particular setup. At the bottom here, you have your cam, and your cam here, this is where all the power comes from this bow. And these letters right here that you see on the outside, this allows you to adjust the draw length by 1/2 inch. Each hole is a 1/2 inch. So you can adjust your draw length, say 28.5 or 27.5 or 29.5, whatever it is. But let's say, for example, if your draw length is 28 and you're on E, we're just saying that if you're on E, right up above that, you have some letters too. You have to, this part up here has 2 screws, one down here and one up here. You just back them out a little bit and you can turn this thing a little bit, and you put the screw where it's the same letter here it is down here. Otherwise you're going to throw it out of whack. But here you have a screw right here that you unloosen, and you can move that screw to whatever draw length you need. But if it's on E, this one has to be on E too. But you only got a screw here and a screw up here for that. So it's real easy to set the draw length, and you don't need a bow press. And then you've got the setting the poundage on this. And this is all you need to do to set the poundage on this, is turn this bolt here. So on these bows, One, if you want to increase the poundage, you put your Allen wrench in here and turn it to the right. If you want to decrease the poundage, you turn it to the left. Lefty loosey, righty tight. When you tighten this bow limb here comes back. And when you decrease it, the poundage, it goes forward. Okay. One of the things I think it's real smart to do is put a marker here and a marker here. This part does not move. So when you make one revolution all the way around, you know you stop on that mark. And then you only make 2 revolutions at the most. Don't turn one limb 3 revolutions and then go to the other limb and turn it 3 revolutions. Only do like 1 or 2 revolutions at a time, because you can kind of torque that bow limbs to a certain extent and cause some problems. Okay, so do like 2 revolutions here, then 2 down here, 2 here. Now what I do is, like, if I'm doing righty tight, lefty loosey, if I'm decreasing it, I'm turning it to the left, 2 turns, take the bow, and then turn the bow over to this position right here, so I know I don't get confused with it. Turn it to the left 2, and then I'll check the poundage. Now, in order to check the poundage, I use one of these right here. This is a Chinese off-brand deal here that works really well for me. And this little loop right here goes on your D loop. You just hook that on there, and you pull it all the way back to full draw till you kind of hit the wall, and it'll give you your poundage. You just press this little button right here, and it'll give you pounds or kilograms or even ounces. And you can weigh other things with this too, luggage or fish or anything like that. And it works pretty well for all of that. This costs about $15 on eBay. The name brand one costs about $90 that they have out. So, but this works great for me, and this is how I check the poundage on these bows when I'm doing this. So, once you adjust your bow poundage to where you want it, it comes 70 from the factory. Adjust it down to 60 or 55, or if you just target shooting at 50 or whatever, then a lot of times you want to make sure that you measure the tiller. The other thing you want to do is measure your tiller from here to the string on the top limb and then on the bottom limb down here. Okay, so these are a few reasons that I like this particular design bow. One is that you don't need a bow press to set this up. If you get the RTS version where you have the peep sight already installed, and you can set the poundage without a bow press, you can set the draw length without a bow press, and it's real easy to sight in. And it's got some improvements on this particular bow, and at 316 feet per second, that's no joke there. So now you would think, well, this is a hunting bow. It's also, these bows are also used in competition shooting too. They're extremely accurate bows, even in competition. So you got everything that you need here. 75% is not bad on the let off. You might want a bow that's 80% or 85%, but this works fine for me this way. And I don't feel that much vibration in it, and it feels good in the hand. And we'll try it out and see how it works. All in all, this is just a great bow, and this was the quiver right here that comes with it, which is fairly decent there. You know, most time people are going to kind of make it their own. I would say that this right here would be nice if it had a little bit more weight to it on that. But I mean, like what I paid for this bow was like $367, and that's shipping, handling, everything with the RTS on it, ready to shoot. So to me, that was a real good deal. Normally, you'll see these bows sell for around $450, sometimes $500. I bought it from American Archery, which is a archery place in Georgia, somewhere close to Atlanta. I live in Middle Georgia, so it's probably 150 miles from where I live. But I ordered it from eBay. Thanks for watching, Gary J.